Hi guys, this is Christian from wingsurf.nl. Today I'd like to talk to you about traveling with your wingfoil gear. How to pack your gear, what you should be aware of when you're on an airport, and just some tips and tricks to make everything more easy to take along. One of the things you really have to take care of is the amount of kilos you can bring along with on your flight. Some flights allow 23 kilos, otherwise 30, some others 32. Much more, it's possible, but you probably have to pay a lot. So just look at the airline's website at the rules. It can also make a difference if you take a surfboard or a kite surfboard or windsurfing equipment. So they don't know the difference anyway. Just say whatever you think works best. But anyway, I could only bring 23 kilos on this particular trip, and I have too much gear to bring along to bring just 23 kilos in one case. So how did I do that? First of all, you get a big board bag, so everything will stay inside, like a travel board bag. The padding is a little bit thicker, and overall, these board bags can hold more gear. Also, another thing to really to keep the weight down is all the accessories like rearwings, the fuselage, spares, even the pump, the electric pump in my case. They could fit the normal suitcase my wife would bring along. So in that way, you save some weight on your wingfoil equipment. Also, it's really important how you pack your board. First of all, it would really suck if your board wouldn't come on your destination in one piece. And to make that happen, to make a difference, I always use pipe isolation around the rails of the boards. In the end, when your board is going through the airport, you don't know what's going to happen with it. Most of the times, it actually will hit a lot of stuff on the way. So just packing the board as good as possible, it reduces chances on small things or even worse. So the first thing is this pipe isolation material. It's really light, and you just put it around the rails, tape it around it, and it protects your board really well. Second, if you can get it, some new boards are delivered with it. They come with honey bump materials. It's just cotton with a lot of air in between. And well, right now I already took it apart, but I just grab these sections and stick them to the bottom of my board, and also on the top side where there's no extra padding from the board itself. Just protect it even more. It will protect your board on impact, but also because there's like 2 centimeters of air in between, if something else falls onto your board that's heavy, it will penetrate your board most likely, and well, this saves you another 2 centimeters, so it might not penetrate your board. Also, as well as on the top as on the rear of the bottom of the board, add extra cardon, and not just one layer of cardon, but I put these blocks of cardon on both sides. On this trip, when we were on the airport, all of a sudden the normal, well, actually the wing gear came out of the same conveyor belt as the normal gear, and if I wouldn't have been standing there, the board would have hit like a wall full speed on, and this made a real difference. Would have made a real difference in saving the board a bit. But even then, be aware where you are on the airport, because most times some guys will bring it along and put it on a separate conveyor belt. But if not, be ready at the normal conveyor belt where the normal suitcases come along, because if it comes out there, there's a pretty big chance it will damage if you're not ready to catch it. So, big tip. Right now, I'm just gonna pack the board. You'll see in a bit how it will look like. Also, I'm gonna leave the straps on actually, because I have enough space in the bag, so I'll just leave them on. I don't have to put them on and off. It's easier. And only if I wouldn't have enough space in the bag, I would take them off. But leaving them on just keeps the board protected on the top side actually. And making sure the leash, well, actually the rear strap doesn't fold, because this is a really ultra light strap. I just put the board leash inside of it so it won't fold. The board has been packed and wrapped, the honeycomb materials around it, also all the isolation and the carton on both ends. Well, basically this will protect the board better, and it doesn't add that much extra weight to the whole thing. Of course, there can always be more protection around it. If I would have enough kilos available, I would even add extra carton around the rails, just to be sure. If you don't have the honeycomb material, just use the carton board, but not the thickest, of course. And if you can, use layers. Layers will protect more than just one layer. That's one. And also, if you again do want to save some weight, because you can't carry another suitcase with you, for example, what you can do, if you have things like towels, maybe a wetsuit or boots or whatever, just use them to protect your board. So wrap your board in these materials, maybe just the nose or the tail or the whole board if it's a towel. It's better to have the weight distributed a little bit. Use those, but otherwise put them in a suitcase, because you can make your every kilo you add to your board, when it drops, that kilo could make the difference if your board is going to survive or not. There are these theories that people say, oh, you have to make your board bag as heavy as possible so they won't throw with it. I'm not sure about that. Sometimes nobody throws with it, just the conveyor belt ending. So who knows what's the best. But this is my tip. Try to make it as light as possible actually, if you can. Otherwise, protection, protection, protection. Lots of layers of protection. When packing for wing foiling, all the bolts that I deassemble my foil with, I put them back into place. So here's the fuselage. I put all the bolts back. And also in the board, I screw back on the T-nuts. And in the mast, the 2 bolts, or in this mast there are 2 bolts. I put them in all the way so you don't lose them. That's one of the reasons why I do that and don't pack them separate, is that customs, they normally open up your gear bag, because it looks a bit funny on their scanners, of course. All the bolts, all the materials, metal parts, from the inserts as well. They want to know what they're dealing with. A lot of people don't know how a surfboard looks like, so they'll check it, open it up, and if there's a separate bag with your bolts, there's a chance you will lose them, because it will easily fall out. So if your board bag has separate compartments where you can put this in, make sure these compartments can be closed by a zipper, because when it's just when it's a non-zipper, it's a big chance it will fall out. I've had quite some people losing all of their bolts while flying that way. So also for your spare bolt, I bring a spare bolt for each bolt I bring along, and also the tools necessary to lock everything. I put this one in a different casing, so you always have one whole bag left with the keys. Very, very useful. Also what I bring is some repair kit for the wing. Most wings come with a small repair kit. You can just bring that along. it might be useful. Also, what I bring along is the roll of duct tape. You always want to bring a roll of duct tape with you. And I bring some minor carbon patches and solarized material. Solarized is just an easy fixing material. You put it on, put your board up into the sun for 20 minutes and it's closed. It's hard again. So you can go out with it. Another essential I always bring is a strap, or a strap of two of them actually, because you arrive at the airport, you get your rental car, and you're like, oh no, that car is going to be really small to put everything in. So one solution, bring big straps and just put the board, maybe everything all together on the roof and strap it on. Also, it works really well on some airports where the trolleys are a bit weird. So you can't put two trolleys in each other and put the board on top and the suitcases in between. You just have one trolley, and when you have one trolley and suitcases, you're going to be in trouble with parts falling off. So what I do, I just put my board straight up, suitcases in between, put the strap around, and that's it. You can walk freely. Almost ready packing my Wingfoil package. The board is in the board bag. I've got 3 separate front wings here. I taped them together, so if I put it in right now, they won't move around too much, so they won't damage and they won't fall out in any way. And I've put some extra cordon around the top plate of the mast, and also some extra protection on the other end. I just put it in. Here I have the wing. Yeah. Make sure it fits. One thing that I'm first going to do when everything is in, I leave that stuff out. That's going into the suitcase to save some weight. Here I have the strap that you can use for anything. I'm just going to strap everything really tight together. If you have 2 straps, I would suggest use both of them. So if nothing moves around, it will be better protected. This board bag also comes with straps attached to it. So you just strap everything together. And then, of course, when you're ready, close the board bag and you're done. So hopefully you will have some use for my tips and tricks how to pack your Wingfoil gear for traveling. And as they say, have a nice flight.